Hello there. Today I am going to be teaching you what knowledge I have gained about painting models. In particular, I am going to be talking about Warhammer 40k models, which is a particular brand. Just for an example, I will show you this guy, which I have completed. I'll talk more about him. I'm not exactly sure what he is. All I know is he looks cool. And I actually got into this hobby because a friend of mine highly recommended it to me, and it turned out it was something that I was interested in. So I would always see if you could find someone that's interested in it alongside you, because that just makes the whole experience so much more fun. So first I'm going to quickly go through the tools that I'd recommend using while painting models, and those are very simply, I recommend this type of glue and this bottle size because it has a pointed tip that allows you to guide the glue very nicely so that you don't have glue going everywhere. I recommend Vallejo brand of paint, not too expensive, also pretty great when it comes to going on your paint and staying there and having a nice color tone. And I recommend this brand of Testors paint thinner because I cannot count the amount of brushes I went through before discovering you have to clean them with paint thinner, and I just don't like wasting, especially the brushes, and so that's a nice way to not do that. So I am going to start with showing you what this guy looked like before I assembled him, and that is this sheet. So this is a very complicated sheet of all bits and pieces. However, instruction manuals do typically come with the sheets that you are given, and as such, it's not easy, but you can figure out how to put things together. But the reason I bring this up is because I found that the easiest way to get the paint to be good on these kinds of miniatures is to actually paint the pieces while they're still on the sheet. So for example, I started doing this. I'm not exactly sure why I didn't finish or what these are for, but I had them lying around. So yeah, paint them on here, at least start to, and then you can glue them together here later, because as you can see with more complex guys like this, or gals, depending upon what you're painting, it is difficult to get all of the nooks and crannies once everything's been placed together. However, once you have placed everything together using your glue, I do recommend going over and doing finishing touches. For example, these row parts here, the tan bits, those were finishing touches after he was assembled, and all of the red there and there I did go over once he was finished. And for these kinds of things, I recommend, because you know it's difficult to not hit the gun bit or this bit, I recommend actually going like this with your paintbrush, just pressing hard down and going underneath it, so that way if something does get on it, it's only on the underside. And I would be very much against the idea of painting this gun once it was wore on, because if you tried to do that, any little bit of flaky brush hair that had a little bit of paint on it could get on your red, and then you don't want silver on your red. Makes it not seem so real. I also just wanted to quickly talk to you guys about improvement. I am not great at this. This guy took me a very long time. I want to say probably 4 hours in total, which is very difficult. However, it's a very therapeutic activity, I guess I'd describe it as, that I very much enjoy. However, I started out like this, making absolute garbage. The color doesn't make any sense. Why is this guy super silver? I don't really know. This was the first model I ever painted though, and that's why I bring it up, because you can make improvements. So if you start out on model painting and think, wow, this looks bad, I probably have models that look worse than yours. So just keep with it. Maybe, well, not maybe, you absolutely will get better than me, because I'm not that good at this. But I am still new at this too. And the final thing I'd like to talk to you about is a specific technique of brushing called dry brushing, and I used it on this figure. And the reason I bring that up in particular is because when it comes to painting Warhammer models, or models in general, it can take a significant amount of time, even if you're great at it, especially if you want quality. However, with this dry brushing technique, it becomes very quick to paint larger models. For example, this guy. Now, dry brushing is where you take your paintbrush, put some paint on it, let's say I'm using this Vallejo, and then quickly just go like this to try to get the excess liquid from the paint off while still containing the color. And then that makes your brush more dry, hence the name dry brushing. So then you just go quickly just splatter the paint on your model, and the paint should come out thin and nice like that, and a little bit patchy in some places. And I went for that look on this guy because I wanted him to look like some more of an old thing. So you see a lot of the silver and gray undertones that I didn't paint those on. They were just there, and I didn't paint over them with the dry brushing. So there are ways around having to spend a lot of time, and the number one piece of advice I give you when it comes to building models is listen to something while you're doing it and have fun. Try not to get frustrated, try not to freak out, because then model painting stops being fun, and that is really what it's all about. So I recommend using audiobooks or listening to music, classical music in particular, so you can just have a great time. And thank you for listening to this. I hope you have a fun time modeling, or if not, just watching this video, and stay safe out there.